So I'm MD Muzikaldunk, and I am a professional musician and music producer, creative advocate. I like to call myself as well because all things creative, I am interested in or have done to further my career. So, creative advocate is a summarization of all things needed to succeed creatively, independently. First and foremost, I'm a drummer and a vocalist. I transitioned from playing drums to becoming a music producer, which is what I went to school for, and took the education and ran with it and became my own entity with what I knew. I literally tell my students or just anyone that asks, why or what do you do and why do you do it? I play drums. I've known how to play as long as I remembered how to breathe. I've never known a day I did not know how to play. So I've always wanted to learn how to make that useful in my life and not a burden or not something that I wish I didn't do of some sort of regret for that matter. I've always wanted to incorporate that feeling of that purpose within me. I feel like I'm more purposeful when I'm playing music. So how do I make that purpose my lifestyle, my livelihood? A friend of mine that has known me, or a family friend, has known me since I was a kid. She was an entertainment lawyer that then transitioned her law firm into a management firm, and she manages the artists she was representing. That was really cool story. Reached out to me in 2015. It's like, hey, do you still play drums? And I like kind of thought it was a little insulting because I'm like, hey, I've been gigging, I've been posting my shows, nobody comes. Like, do I play drums? Like, what do you mean? Yes, I play, but I'm like, I'm at work. She's like, hey, I have an artist that I want you to really meet. And I feel like you guys should, I think you'll bond really well. And I meet this guy, his name's Joe Jordan. He's a phenomenal lead guitarist, but he's in a punk band. I've never played punk music a day in my life. And then I meet his band. His mom was his drummer. I said, well, what? This can't be hard at all. And then I see her play. I'm like, holy crap. Oh, wait. I was so wrong. So about 2 weeks into learning his music with me and his mom side by side, she's like, it was the first time, like even my mom didn't give me lessons. I never got lessons from anyone ever. And this woman sat me down, didn't like kind of like shun me away, really wanted me to like sit and learn specifics that I had never like thought of even attempting to play. And she just broke it down so easily. I was like, I have to play for you now. Like, I don't even care if it was just for like a show or two. Like, I have to hang out with you guys. And that built my first time, like, being in a musical community in my own city. And I had been playing maybe professionally about 5, 6 years now. So we built this rapport with this jam session at this local Ethiopian restaurant that would just open up the front of their restaurant to us and let us host a jam session in their dining room. And we did that for about 2 years. And the end of the first year, my mentor now, met this woman. Her name's Latrice Branson. She was this tall woman, came in and she's like, hey, can I play my conga with you? I was like, sure, I don't care. Like, that's awesome that we invite people like that. And at the end of it, she's like, hey, I'm thinking of having a jam session like you guys, but I only want just female percussionists. Would you want to host it with me? Heck yeah. I've been looking for female drummers in this city for years. I thought it was just me. Lo and behold, 7 years later, Drum Like a Lady is a nonprofit organization that me and four other women, including Latrice, started from my jam session that became like this big citywide thing. We played for the Bernie Sanders campaign, and we've done a lot of like a community outreach. We play for different churches. We actually have even a session for the blind, and we have one for the physically impaired, the ones that can't really fully move all of their upper body limbs. But just the simple fact of just like sitting on a drum just to do that rhythm is therapy for them. Like, all of those things became a outreach from one jam session. the sync licensing game. That's kind of like my passion when I initially went to college. I had a professor that was a DJ. He was really a house DJ, but his bread and butter were commercials and YouTube videos. And it brought me back to before I got really into basketball and music. I was a TV buff. I love TV. I love a good theme song. And that's just always what was in the back of my mind when I went to college. Like, well, if I don't make the big song, I can always make, it's music everywhere. And school did open me up to that. Like, there to not one-sidedness of it. Like, oh, you don't just have to have that radio song. So my next goal post is to move forward in that. I am working with a few indie filmmakers, but that's just also to get into uh, some credits. I'm all about legitimacy because I teach a lot of students, young students, and a lot of girls. And a lot of things that they always talk about, it's just like, we could do a lot of stuff, but they don't get the credit. Girls don't get the credit. Girls don't get the credit. So I'm always about legitimizing everything I do to show and prove that, hey, if you know how to get your credit, you will receive your credit. It's not that girls just don't get credit. I'm always about making sure that even the things that we talk about here, that I have legitimate proof that these things were my efforts are showed and they were proven. So it doesn't just kind of just show projecting the success of something. Not at all. I know for a fact that the music that I make, I tested it out last year where I was not an artist. I always portrayed myself. I'm just a producer. I don't sing. I don't. And everyone I work with is like, oh my God, you're killing this, Barb. Just do something, put something out. They don't know if you don't release it. So I started my own music label last year. Like, all right, cool. If that's how it's going to work, I'm not just going to put a song out. I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm going to start my own business. So I started my own record label, which is why Muzikaldunk really is my actual business name. It is my real name that if you type that in, you'll get everything about me. My face will pop right up. I was in school and it was a very slight topic that became really big deal to me when we learned sound waves. And I really always took sound waves very seriously. And it's a good thing now because I mix and master music now. So it was weird to me that something so minuscule that you don't think about, the actual sound wave, that at a certain level of the vibration, it's inevitable that it's going to affect your vibration inside of you as a human in general. The vibrations of music is the same vibrations we connect to in the world when we hear a bird, when we hear a bus. It's a certain feeling and an alertness you connect to with every vibration of sound. So I take that very seriously with my music. So it could be something you've never heard of. I would have never thought that sound would go with that, but you're still listening. You're still with it though. You don't know why you're still in it. And that's when I know I made a good song. That's kind of like when I like to make sure that you feel me. Then I don't care if you didn't like it, but you talk about it. It was felt, it was effective. I did my job. This rapper poet named Toby. His backstory is him just being a black father with a wife, with this life of, his best friend is a female who's his music producer, who would be somebody like me. And they built this empire of music being very positive and forward thinking with the content. It just so happened that he's black at this point because of how effective his words are. It's like, wow. Like, and then there's another artist, PJ Morton, who he comes from the church. His dad is a very famous pastor, but he decided to he's like, but my dad always loved R&B music, and he always felt the way when him and my mom would want to dance to some R&B music. So I wanted to make music that he could feel comfortable to, that, it's still, loving, but it's not gospel, and that's kind of what my venture started out as. Like, hey, I want to make sure my family is comfortable with who I've become, but I also want them to expand the mindset of what I've become. Expand your brain and your heart for what can be, and accept that too.